The biggest, burliest guy finds a baby squirrel in his yard.
Oh my god, it's a baby squirrel.
This dude's an ex-trucker, built like a linebacker. He hears a tiny squeaking sound in the grass. Hey, little guy, come with me. I'm bringing you inside. He takes the baby squirrel inside, and he begins to bottle feed it milk.
Yeah, drink up. It's good for you.
He carries this squirrel around in his shirt pocket, day after day, taking care of it, raising it. Well, one day he tries to release it back into the wild, where he thinks it belongs. Go on. I said go on. But the squirrel refuses to leave. Every time he sets the squirrel down, the squirrel crawls right back up and sits on his shoulder.
I guess you're staying with me.
So he keeps it. Meanwhile, this guy also has 4 Pomeranian dogs. So this entire time, the squirrel was raised with these dogs. At night, the squirrel sleeps in the dog pile. When people come over, the dogs all race to the door, but so does the squirrel. Rufus, Spot, Marlowe, Steven.
Oh, there he is, Nutty.
To this day, that squirrel is this guy's best friend. The dogs are too. But hey, that's amazing. It's a big family birthday party. All the cousins are the same age, from middle school. There's cake everywhere, balloons, pizza crust on the couch. By 8 p.m., the party's over. The adults are done. One of the aunts says, all right, kids, that's a party. Nobody's leaving till we all help clean up. One cousin says, no, I'm not cleaning this. I gotta go home, man. I mean, I don't want to clean it either, but what do we do? I have an idea. That cousin then just drops to the ground. Full body collapse, right on the floor, everyone's screaming, oh my god, Corey! Corey, wake up! The kid's not moving at all. One of the cousins is like, okay bro, joke's over, stop. But Corey is just committing to this. His eyes are closed, he's limp, he's silent while people are shaking him. Come on, Corey, get up, get up! What he didn't know was one of his uncles was in the kitchen and called 911. So now, paramedics burst into the house. Where is he? Where is he? That's when he's like, I'm better now. Everybody explodes. The parents are furious. The cousins are like, bro, that was way too far. He's grounded for months. The ambulance leaves, and now all the cousins are forced to clean up double time. They didn't just have to clean up from the party. They had to now clean all the bathrooms and rake the yard. It was insane. So his little bit to get him out of cleaning made things 10 times worse. There was this kid named Silas who hadn't spoken since the 6th grade. Silas went 3 years without making a sound, until he ended up in Mr. Garrett's algebra class. I'm Mr. Garrett. Now, Mr. Garrett was a notorious power trip who loved picking on kids for no reason. Well, that particular day, he was really laying into this kid named Leo. Well, are you stupid, Leo? I asked you for the answer 10 minutes ago. Stand up. Sit down. Now, Leo was a freshman, and he had a stutter. And on that day, he was clearly on the verge of a full-blown panic attack. The teacher was being ruthless. The class was silent as well. They were like, this is super uncomfortable. The teacher's still laying it down. How did you even get through middle school? You are the dumbest student I've had in years. Well, that's when the class heard a scrape, like someone's chair being pushed out. It's Silas. He's standing up now. Silas, sit back down. This does not involve you. Silas didn't sit down. He walked right to the front of the room. He stood between the teacher and the kid, and he spoke for the first time in 3 years. He's not the one who's stupid, Mr. Garrett. A good teacher doesn't need to bully a 15-year-old to feel powerful. So there's something weird about me. Mr. Garrett was so stunned because this kid hadn't spoken all year that he just sat down, stunned, in his seat. Silas never spoke at school again for the rest of the year. He didn't have to, because everyone already knew. This is the best senior prank of all time. So at this one high school, nobody knew what the senior prank was going to be. Usually there's a warning or like someone's leaked it, but this year nothing. But right after second period, the school's front door opens and enters a mariachi band. 5 guys, full suits, giant instruments, and they start following the principal everywhere. It's kind of awesome. He's just walking normal, like checking things out. He's doing his job. He walks into a classroom mid-session, the band follows him in, the kids love it. By lunch, it's a full event. Kids got their phones out, they're filming him, they're following him around the hallways like a freaking parade, and the principal is eating this up. He thinks it's absolutely hilarious. And at the end of the day, the band leaves, and that was it. And nobody got in trouble because, let's be real, that was awesome. Like I said, brilliant senior prank. This school's cafeteria food sucked, so this one school randomly decides that all the cafeteria food has to be low sodium, which really meant
This food tastes like cardboard.
everything was bland. No pepper, no salt, no sauces, no ranch, no ketchup. Nothing was available to make this food any better. And soon enough, kids are straight up just skipping lunch. But this one kid, Jules, finds a way to beat the system. He goes to the store and he buys a packet of these tiny little hot sauces. Sriracha, there's Taco Bell fire sauce, mango habanero, and this strange green one that's just called the Monster. At first, he just shares it with his table, but then kids started offering him money for squeezes of these hot sauces.
$1 for 2 squeezes. No refunds.
Yeah, that's a pretty ridiculous price for 2 squeezes of a hot sauce, but like I said, the food was so freaking bland that people were doing anything to enjoy their lunch. And guess what? Business began booming. First day, he makes $8. The next day, he made $12. By Friday, he's got repeat customers, People are wanting hot sauce left and right. He's having to buy new batches.
Hey, what is that?
Well, not long after he started, a lunch lady caught him and sent him to the principal. And the entire thing was shut down. But the principal did tell him,
Hey, Jules, one more thing before you go to detention.
Yeah.
I respect your hustle.
and you gotta respect that he respected that kid's hustle.
Come here, idiot. Not you again.
Every single day at lunch, this same bully would walk by this kid. He would slam his lunch tray down and laugh. Oops, my bad. I guess you're eating off the floor again. The kid would just pick it up. He would try not to cause a scene, but it kept happening every single day. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Well, finally, this kid had enough. He snapped. One day, he showed up to lunch with a shiny metal lunchbox. It looked normal, and nobody thought twice. But inside the lunchbox were 2 heavy bricks. The thing was heavy, but he was carrying it around like it was normal. So here comes the bully. He's smirking. Hey, let me help you with your new lunchbox, lunch boy. Oh, okay. And just like every other day, the bully smacks the lunchbox. But right as the bully's hand hits the lunchbox, the kid lets go right above the bully's foot. My toe! I think it's broken. Oops, my bad. And the bully's toe was broken, but it was his own fault. After that day, he did not mess with this kid ever again. Yeah, good. Every day this kid would come home with bruises and cuts, and his mom would always ask, "Oh my God, sweetie, what happened to you?" "Oh, just football, Mom. It's rough." But here's the truth. It wasn't from football. After school, there was this fight club that was in somebody's garage who lived near the school. It wasn't just like 1 or 2 kids. It was like 30 of them. They would gather at this guy's garage, they would circle up, and they would throw down. And here's the thing. The guy that hosted this, his parents worked late, so they were never home after school. All right, gather in. Round 1. Martouche and Kenny. You ready? Let's rock, Salmon Man. And they weren't going easy on each other either. It was insane. There was split lips, busted teeth, and what's the rule of Fight Club? You know it. Nobody talked about it outside of this circle. So every night this kid would walk back in his house, beat up, bloody, and he would say the same thing. "Football practice, Mom. It was rough, but it was never football." That's insane. He robbed the teacher's lounge for months. In broad daylight during biology, he would leave class and walk straight into the teacher's lounge with so much confidence. He'd open the freezer, see what's in there, take an ice cream sandwich, open the fridge, take somebody else's lunch. If there were chips on the table, he'd grab like 7 bags. And he would literally nod at the teachers while he was taking their stuff. He was acting so confident, they didn't even question it. They assumed that he was there for a reason. That was the trick. And he would stand there having conversations. "Mr. Johnson, your test was freaking brutal last week." "I know I felt bad, but you did pretty good on it. You got a B, right?" "Yeah, it could have been an A though." "I'm just gonna grab this and leave. Take care." Literally talking to this teacher while he's stealing another teacher's apple, banana, granola bar. And it worked for months until one day, one person decided to finally question him. It was the vice principal. Yo, what are you doing in here?" All that confidence and swagger, and he never decided to think of a story of why he would belong there. So he was busted and suspended for 5 days. This senior class pulled a crazy prank. One night before school, they sent a few people out to pet stores to buy buckets and buckets of crickets. "Oh, we got this. This is gonna be the best prank ever." Then, right before lunch, they poured buckets of crickets into any trash can they could find. Well, that day during lunch, a fight broke out. People were pushing and shoving each other.
Hey, wait a minute.
A crowd begins to form. And amidst all this chaos, these garbage cans got knocked over. And I guess the crickets that had been sitting in there saw this as an opportunity to go crazy. So now there's this wave, this swarm of crickets just
going all over the place, and people are freaking out. It turns into chaos. Nobody knows why there's an army of crickets, and somebody pulls a fire alarm. Within minutes, the school loses complete control. And at the end of the day, pest control was there trying to fix the situation, trying to get rid of all these crickets, and I guess they did their best. Weeks go by, and months, and crickets are still showing up. In classrooms, in lockers. Years later, every so often, you can hear them at night in the ceiling, all because of one senior prank. And honestly, that's legendary.
In 4th grade, these two kids decided to ruin someone's life. They didn't mean to, though. It started as a joke. They stayed after class one day, laughing, scribbling in notebook paper. JT, I've been in love with you forever. That's good. But they didn't sign their names on it. They signed this one girl's. She was a quiet girl, and JT was the class clown. They finished writing the note, and they folded it up. They then put it in JT's desk, and they left. Forgot about it. Until the next morning, they walk into class, and JT is standing up, reading this note. JT, I've been in love with you forever. You make my heart go boom, boom, boom. What? He reads every word. And when he's done, everyone turns to this girl. I didn't write that, I swear. I didn't write that. Nobody believes her. Everyone thinks it's real. She has a full-blown meltdown and she leaves the classroom. And the two kids stare at their desks. The next few days, she is bullied relentlessly. And one of the boys that wrote the note couldn't take it. Hey, it was me that wrote the note. Me and Kyle. We are so sorry. Why would you do that to me? My life has been horrible this week. I'm so sorry, I'll try to make it right. Those two then announced in front of that entire class that it was actually them, and that people should please be nice to this girl. But it wasn't as easy as that. People still made fun of her, and they realized that even a simple joke could follow somebody around for years. So be careful what you do. Be careful who you do it to. Be nice, everybody. He made bank at school. It started in 7th grade when one kid noticed the same thing every single week. Somebody forgot their lunch, somebody's card got declined, or somebody just straight up didn't eat. And every single time, they'd beg their friends for food or snacks at the table, and their friends are like, no, bro, get your own. Listen, I've been there. So this kid started a business, $5 a month. And if your lunch ever fell through, he would spot you, no questions asked. So he started carrying a backpack full of basic lunch foods. A bunch of PB&Js, chips, granola bar, juice boxes, nothing fancy, but it was food. He called this business lunch insurance. Brilliant. People laughed at him at first. Yo, this is a dumb business, dude. Oh, you think so? Just you wait. But during that first week of business, 4 kids needed this. Hey, remember when I called your idea dumb? First of all, I'm sorry. Second of all, I forgot my lunch again, and I think I'm just gonna subscribe to the service. Oh, okay. By month 2, he had 22 subscribers. And now he had tiers. Bronze tier got you a basic fix of food. Basic PB&J, basic granola bar, basic juice box. The silver tier came with kind of upgraded items. Maybe a salami sandwich, a Capri Sun instead of a basic juice box, and maybe he throw in a Nutter Butter or something. And gold tier had even better items, and on top of that, hot Cheetos. He had a clipboard and a list. This guy was official. And guess what, my friends? Business was absolutely booming. Eventually, a teacher saw him divvying out snacks to people. She thought it was a black market. Well, the kid explained it. Clipboard, the tiers, lunch insurance, customer feedback. The teacher just stared at him and said, you might be a genius, but stop with the hot Cheetos, okay? Those are banned at our school. And he did switch out the food. Instead of hot Cheetos, now he had Sun Chips, garden salsa, harvest cheddar. He was doing it right. By April, he had over 60 paying subscribers, and even a couple teachers on the list. His total revenue? $2,700. You gotta respect the hustle. It's 7th grade and this kid Lucas brings a bunch of Costco gum to school. Tons of packs. Every single flavor. And he never made a big deal about it, but he would pull them out here and there so that people could see. And naturally, they would ask for a piece of gum. And when they did, 50 cents. Oh, I don't have any money right now. Oh, that's fine. Pay me later. And that was his thing. You know, at first, people were like, he's not gonna ask for that money later, you know? It's just a piece of gum. But that's where they were completely wrong. Because after he would give someone a piece of gum and say, pay me later, he would pull out a tiny notebook and write down the debt in that notebook. Everybody had a tab. Their name, their flavor, and how much they owed. But the thing is, he wanted this debt to grow. He would walk up to them. Hey, so you still owe me from last week, but I just got this crazy new watermelon flavor. You want a piece? I'll just put it on your tab. And he just kept stacking debt on top of debt on top of debt. Until finally he decided it was time to collect. He goes to the 2 biggest kids in class. Carl? Mordecai? Yeah. I'll give you 10%. Here's the list. Get me my money. And they would go around school with a list. Hey, you got Lucas's money? I'm here to collect. And these kids were big and intimidating, and people did pay him back. Lucas made like $175 before this whole thing was shut down. You gotta respect the hustle, I guess. A dirty pair of shoes changed his entire life. It started when this kid noticed something weird. Every single Friday, without fail, this one math teacher wore the same busted sneakers. Grimy, white New Balances that were definitely super stained. So one day during lunch, this 8th grader walks up to him. You know I can clean those shoes for you, right? Eh? Be my guest. So they go to his classroom, he gives him the New Balances and puts on another pair of shoes, and this kid takes the teacher's shoes home. He wants to do a good job, so he's watching tutorials on YouTube, he borrows his cousin's shoe cleaning kit, he goes to town. Well, he brings those shoes back looking brand spanking new. Yo, these are nice. Can you clean the shoes I actually care about though? And just like that, word spreads fast. By next week, this kid's got a folded up table in the corner of the lunchroom with a sign that says, Sneaker Shine, $5 for basic, $10 for premium. He brought in toothbrushes to scrub the stuff, he had suede brushes to keep that suede looking fresh, and he had like sneaker whitening pens. By week 3, some of the football players are giving him their cleats after practice for him to clean. By week 4, he's got some teachers that are giving him their shoes. And by week 5, this kid is shining shoes during class, doing algebra with one hand and scrubbing Vans with the other. Business was absolutely booming. Well, one teacher, who's kinda lame, reported him for running an unauthorized business. But the principal pulled him aside and said, look, you're not in trouble. Just don't make a mess, keep it quiet, and bring your rates down for school staff. For you, Mr. Johnson, you got it. And for you, always free. He made $800 in 2.5 months. Eventually, after a while, it did get out of hand and he had to stop. But by that point, he had a huge clientele, and he started his own website. You gotta respect the hustle. This kid's stepdad worked for Coca-Cola, and because of that, there was a rule in their house. No Pepsi products, ever. Not in the fridge, not at restaurants, and not at birthday parties. If they were out to dinner, yeah, I'll take a Coke with my chicken tenders. I'm sorry, we only have Pepsi products. Yeah, nope, pack it up. We are leaving. We're going somewhere else, kids. But my chicken tender. I said we're going somewhere else. Even when they were hosting parties at their house, if any of their guests came with Pepsi products, pour it out or throw it away. Those are not allowed in this house. I understand some people have a preference between Pepsi and Coke, but this just went a little too far. That dad sounds insane. So it was senior prank season, and this one might have been the most beautiful senior prank this school has ever seen. It's the last week of school, and the seniors show up. They've got a ladder, a few backpacks, and they're carrying bags upon bags of something. How much you get? 30 pounds. You're kidding. Nope. 30 pounds of confetti. They sneak into the assembly hall, where the school organ is. Now, the school was about to have an assembly, and for some reason at every single assembly, the music teacher plays the organ. Now, it's a giant old organ with these large pipes, and these pipes stretch up to the ceiling. With the ladder set up, they climb up, and they start pouring confetti straight down each of the organ's pipes. And not just a little confetti, pounds of it, until pretty much every pipe is stuffed. Well, only one teacher is in on it, and that's the music teacher. He gave them the green light because that old organ was being thrown out anyway. But nobody else knows about this, okay? So, 2 hours later, the whole school is crammed in for this assembly. The principal gives his speech, and then the organist starts playing. Whoosh! A cloud of confetti blasts into the air like fireworks while this beautiful organ music is playing. With each note, another explosion of confetti goes off. And now it's like a blizzard. Students are cheering, they're trying to catch it. It's beautiful! But the teachers are really confused. Oh my god, what's happening? What's happening? The principal's standing there looking around like the ceiling just collapsed. Meanwhile, the music teacher is just calmly playing the organ while this crazy storm is happening. It's a beautiful sight. By the end, the floor is covered in confetti, the seats are all buried, and the seniors are just looking around like, wow, we did that. And that was it. That organ never played another note, but that prank went down in school history. Opened his lunch, looked inside, and oh god, he was starving. He missed breakfast this day, he had a packed lunch, and he couldn't wait for his lunch period. He'd been counting down all morning. It's finally his lunch. He sits down, he opens his lunch bag, and what? Yeah, first thing he sees, a container of cold chicken and sauerkraut. Next to it was a weird mustard packet, like one of those from the deli, a Ziploc full of cherry tomatoes, and a boiled egg, just loose, in the lunch bag, floating around. No salt, no napkin, nothing. What? Are you good, homie? I grabbed my dad's lunch. He packs it up, he doesn't eat, doesn't say a word for the rest of lunch, carries the bag with him all day, and then after school, he goes home, and he walks into his kitchen. Dad, what even is this? Ah, it's my lunch. Yeah, I was wondering why I had yours. Dude, it's nasty. It smells like vinegar, and there's just an egg in there, loose. Hey, that's a good egg. No, Dad, that's a sad egg. A very sad egg. And from that day forward, he made sure to triple check his lunches every morning before school. Honestly, I think that dad's lunch didn't sound too bad, myself. It was said with a straight face, it is not mathematically possible for you to pass this class. It was senior year, the final semester. This kid was failing calculus so bad that looking at his grades made him want to puke. Yeah, he messed up, he didn't do a lot of the homework assignments, he didn't study for a lot of the tests, but now the year's almost over, and if he doesn't pass this class, he doesn't graduate. So one day, he walks up to the teacher and asks her this, "Hey miss, is there still a chance I could pass this class at all?" The teacher just says this, "Well, Stephen, at this point, I don't think it's mathematically possible for you to pass this class. Are you sure about this?" "Well, I'm a calculus teacher, so yeah, I'm sure." Well, despite this information, this kid still busted his butt for the last month of school, paid attention in class, asked a bunch of questions, studied for the final, got a C on the final. And guess what happens? He gets his final grade, and it's a 60%. That's a D, and that is still passing. The teacher saw his effort that last month of school and bumped his grade up for him. And after the final grades were posted, this teacher emailed him. All the email said was, "Sometimes math isn't about the numbers, it's about the effort." Honestly, you gotta respect that teacher. This second grader decides, I want to do something nice for my teacher. So one morning before school, she's outside and she picks a few apple blossoms. Enough to hold in one hand, and she was gonna give it to her teacher. She's gonna love this. She carries them all the way to school. And when it's time, she walks up to her teacher's desk. "I got these for you." Now you would think the teacher would be like, "Oh my goodness, thank you." But where'd you get these? From a tree? That's when the teacher snaps. "You pulled these from somebody's tree in their yard. You stole them." "No, I didn't." "No, I don't want to hear a single word from you. I'm tearing these flowers up. I'm throwing them away. You need to learn about rules, young lady. This is disgraceful. Sit down." Absolutely heartbreaking. This girl just wanted to do something nice and the teacher flipped out. Later that day during recess, her older sibling finds her. She was crying alone. "Oh my God, what happened?" She explains the situation. Well, he was ticked off. He storms inside and he yells at that teacher. "What'd you say to my sister? She was trying to do something nice for you today. You know where she got those flowers? From our backyard." Yeah, the flowers were their family's. She didn't steal them from anybody. The older brother then got a detention for yelling at a teacher, but he doesn't care because the way that teacher treated his little sister was unacceptable. That's a good brother. That's a bad teacher. He's the new kid at a new school, and there's a big rally happening in the gym. It's packed. He's trying to find a seat, but he doesn't want to be noticed. He's kind of shy. Well, there's music blasting, the bleachers are shaking, he's trying to sit down. He's walking up the bleachers, and he's like, "All right, just walk fast, be confident, take a seat, it's not that hard." So he starts jogging. Okay. Well, that's when his foot catches something, and he falls down. But as he falls, he grabs onto this one kid. Well, that kid grabs onto somebody else. And suddenly, it's this full-blown domino effect. Bodies just tumbling down these bleachers. 25 to 30 kids, all just falling, bouncing, rolling down. And it was loud. The sound was unreal. People were screaming. The music stops. Once the falling was done, there's a pile of humans on the floor of the gym. And then the laughter erupts. One by one, people are getting out of the pile until him at the bottom is seen. He started this! And now everybody's laughing at him. For the rest of the year, that kid was known as Bleacher Boy. But it kind of worked out in his favor because people thought it was hilarious. Nobody made fun of him. They just remembered as the day this kid caused the funniest human avalanche ever. Every kid at this one school got a Chromebook. It was for homework, and they were allowed to take it home. Well, this one kid's mom wanted to punish her kids one day, so she took away the Chromebook so they wouldn't have access to the internet. "Mom, I need the Chromebook." "I don't care, I'm locking it up until your behavior improves." Okay, well now, naturally, this kid's grades begin to sink because he doesn't have the Chromebook or the internet to do his homework every night. So the mom gets mad again. "Your grades are absolutely horrible." "Mom, you took the computer." "I don't want to hear it." So the mom installs locks on this kid's bedroom door. And it wasn't like a cheap lock, it was a fingerprint lock. So if he wanted to sleep, he had to ask for permission. The mom also changed the house locks as well to only open for her fingerprint. So someday he would get home from school and he would have to wait outside.
This is horrible. I hate my life.
He explained to his teachers what was going on at home, and they tried calling the mom and talking some sense into her, but the mom always said, I know better than the school, I know better than you teachers, I know better than anyone, okay? This went on from when he was 14 to 18 years old. At 18, he moved out of the house immediately. And now the mom, of course, is like, hi, it's your mom. Why don't you come see me anymore? You never visit. He never visits. I wonder why. This kid shows up to second period and says, hey, what's up, guys? There was a deer stalking me in the parking lot. Oh, what? Yeah, I was walking into the building and I look over and this deer is just looking at me from behind a tree. I walk a little farther and there he is at a different tree, still staring at me. So of course, everybody starts making fun of this kid. They're calling him Deer Boy this entire class. And he's like, guys, this is so dumb. I saw a deer. Whatever. Third period starts and all of a sudden, throughout the entire hall, you hear a giant crash. Guess what it was? A deer literally jumped through one of the classroom windows. Not like near the window, like through it. What was that? What happened?
A freaking deer jumped through the classroom window. It's still in the room.
Oh my God, he's coming for me. It was an absolutely absurd moment. Nobody knows what to do because this deer's kind of freaking out in this classroom. They don't know what to do with it. Well, this one teacher shows up, Mr. Redding. And apparently, Mr. Redding has had a lot of experience with deer. He somehow went in there, calmed it down, and walked it out of the school. How'd you do that, Mr. Redding? Well, I had a pet deer once. And he was my best friend. And after that, everybody stopped calling this kid Deer Boy because obviously there was a deer near the school and it jumped through the window. I wonder if it was coming for him. That's kind of freaky. One day, this kid bought a bunch of clear iPhone cases for cheap. And he had this friend who was good with graphic design. So what he would do is he would have his friend make this cool design of whatever he wanted. His friend would then print it and cut it down so it would fit perfectly inside this phone case. And it looked awesome. Clear phone case, this graphic design insert, it was legit. Custom fit, looked expensive. He did it to his phone case first. It was an anime design and it looked awesome. People saw this and they were immediately intrigued. Well, interest grew. And soon, he was taking orders for people. NBA, anime, SpongeBob, Shrek. He was making these custom phone cases and selling them. Then he starts bundling them together. 3 phone cases for $10, 6 for $15. And business was absolutely booming. He kept buying these clear phone cases. His friend kept designing these designs and custom cutting them to fit the cases. And people were buying them. They were all over the school. The thing was, his friend that was designing these and printing them was using the school's printers. The IT guy realized how much printing had been done and he told the principal. And this whole thing had to be shut down. But by then, he had made $530. And those phone cases became collectibles. Some students even reselling them for 3 times the price they bought them for. Honestly, you gotta respect the hustle. So this guy's at a crowded park, and there's a bunch of food trucks set up. There's no tables, no benches. Everyone's just sitting and eating on this concrete wall. Well, there's only one open spot left, and he begins walking towards it. And as he gets closer to this wall, he sees this lady rushing towards it. And she's dressed pretty nice, like she just left church or something. She begins jogging, but he beats her there. He walks up to the wall, and right behind it, in the grass, is a huge pile of dog poop, right where your butt would be if you leaned back too much. So naturally, he decides not to sit down. And at that point, she storms up behind him and says,
Seriously? I was gonna sit there.
Go ahead, have a seat. And she sits down. And then 2 seconds later, she screams. She stands up and this dog poop is smeared all over her back. Oh, she says to this guy,
Why didn't you say anything to me?
I didn't know how you were gonna sit down. I thought you were just gonna perch on the ledge like a normal person. And she storms off, furious. But like she did try to race him there. The senior prank was to fork the lawn, which means sticking forks all over the school's lawn. Well, you see, at this one particular school, they used real silverware, and the seniors have been planning it for a long time. All right, guys, we have 3 months. Whenever you get the chance, steal a fork. You got it, Johnny.
Brilliant plan, old chap.
Every lunch period, they would be taking these forks secretly, and they were doing it slowly so it seemed like a natural disappearance of silverware. By the end of spring, the seniors had hundreds of forks. And no other class knew. Then the night before their last day of school, they came to campus, quiet. And they took all of these forks and they shoved them into the lawn. evenly spread apart. And there were so many forks. By the time they were done, the grass looked like it had grown metal hair. It's beautiful. Take that wig off. And the next day, administration went crazy. And the thing was, there was only one custodian left for that school year. This older guy. My name's Mr. Johnny. Hey, Mr. Johnny, can you please pull these forks out of the lawn? I don't want anybody tripping.
Oh, okay.
And then there he was, down on his hands and knees, pulling these forks out of the grass. Hundreds of them. Bending, sweating, he's working alone. A teacher finally came in to try to help him. Hey, Mr. Johnny, you can... That's when he saw his face. Mr. Johnny was crying.
Thank you.
That prank then went down in school history, but nobody ever talked about the guy who had to clean it all up. Hey, respect Mr. Johnny. This elementary school banned Pokemon cards, especially the trading of Pokemon cards. Too distracting, too many arguments, it was a big problem. Teachers started confiscating them at the door. So for the first week it was pretty quiet. But then one kid one day shows up with stacks of something else. Rectangles of construction paper, laminated in clear tape. And each of the construction papers had something random drawn on it. Come here. I made my own trading cards. He made his own trading cards. Thousands of them. So what he did is he created a formula, and then he just repeated that, like cards of a mailbox, a broken pencil, a rock with a smiley face on it. And on the back he would write stuff like trash can, 100 HP, wet sock, ultra rare, milk, super ultra rare. And he called them real world cards. He would sit at home for hours, cutting, measuring, drawing, making sure that only a few packs had the milk or the wet socks. And he would sell these packs at school, $5 each. People laughed at first, but they started taking this seriously when someone pulled a golden fire hydrant. There was only one golden fire hydrant card that existed in these packs. And so students started wondering, what other rare cards were they? And business began booming. It became a bigger problem than the Pokemon cards, and the school tried shutting it down. But this kid kept making them and selling them. And because it was only construction paper, colored pencils, and tape, he could do this anywhere. People started making counterfeits, so he had to figure out how to show that his were legit. It was insane. Eventually, the school found a way to shut this down as well. But for some time, this kid created the biggest trading card game that school had ever seen. Even bigger than Pokemon.
আপনি যে কি করে আপনার মাথায় কোনো কমন সেন্স নেই আমার বাসায় তুমি সবাই দেখে ফেলে
রাত 10টায় আমি ফোন দিব আর একবারের বেশি যদি রিং হয় মামা মালটা তো জোস সরি 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 ভাবি তুই যা তুই পারবি তুই দেখ কিভাবে কই সেটিং মিটিং নাই তো সেটিং মানে বুঝো না পেন্টেরিতে ও তো আমাদের ভাবি হয় ওই হিসাবে আমাদের বিয়ে হিসাব ভাবছি
আচ্ছা দাঁড়া ওয়েট কর আমাকে একটু ভাবতে দে দেখি কি করা যায় দোস্ত তুই থাক আমি যাই আমি থাকবো মানে তুই থাক দোস্ত
রক্ত লাগবে রে রক্ত আসবো না মানে
হ্যাঁ তাই তো শুনলাম
আসবো না ঠিক আছে দেখতেছি ব্যাপারটা যাও
কি রে তুই কোচিং এ যাস না কেন
দোস্ত আমি কোচিং এ কিভাবে যাব বল এই গুন্ডাটা যে আমাকে ডিস্টার্ব করে তুই দেখতেই তো পারছস ডেইলি আমার পিছনে লাগে থাকে
আমার ভালোবাসার গল্পটা অপূর্ণ রয়ে গেল গলবে পাখির মন গলবে এমন মন্ত্র দেব
এভাবে রাস্তাঘাটে একটা মেয়েকে উত্তক্ত করে আর নিজের গায়ে রক্ত দিয়ে
হ্যালো
হেই হোয়াটস আপ প্র্যাঙ্ক ম্যান
কে
একটু হলেই তো তোমার ফোন হাওয়া হয়ে যেত ইনফ্যাক্ট আই
তুই তোর ফোন আর কোনোদিন পাবি না।
কেন?
তোর বাবা তো তোর ফোনটাকে একদম আসার দিয়ে ভেঙে শেষ, এমনকি পানিতে চুবাইছে।
আউট অফ কিউরিয়াসিটি হয়তো দেখা করব, বাট আই এম নট দ্যাট মাচ ইজি, অলওয়েজ রিমেম্বার।
আজকে যদি তারা না থাকতো আজকে তোর দিতাম একদম। এই খালি স্কার্টেন গার্ডেন।
এই যে আপু, এসব গার্ডেন ফার্ডেন যায় না, আমার ভাই ব্রাদাররা আছে, আপনার একদম কামড়ায় দিবে। না 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 ব্রো, এই যে আপনার ফোন প্র্যাঙ্ক ছিল ব্রো, চিল চিল চিল। রাকিব ভাই, আপনি এসআই রাকিব ভাই না? আপনার কথা আমি অনেক শুনছি। আপনি কিন্তু মানে বুঝের লোক। টেজে তোলেন।
এই হোসেন আলী, ক্যামেরা আগেই কইছিলাম আমার বস ফেমাস। হ্যাঁ 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 ভাই, একটু যেতে ধরতে।
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ শিওর।
সে কিভাবে যে কনফার্ম হয়?
এটা তো এদিকে না, 3 নাম্বার গেট ওইদিকে, শঙ্কর গলি বোধহয় গেটের বাইরে। আপনি ভুল আসছেন, যান।
ভুল আসছে, কিন্তু আমি কি চিনতে পারবো?
ও আচ্ছা, আপনি দ্যাট বোরখা গার্ল।
চিনতে পেরেছো তাহলে না?
আই লাইক গুড গার্লস। ফলো করতে ফলো কর, যা। এতে কই যায় দেখবি, যা। তাহলে জীবনে প্রথম কাউরে প্র্যাঙ্ক করতে যায়, নিজেই আজকে প্র্যাঙ্ক হয়ে গেল।
মুনিয়া, তুমি আমাকে বলেছো যে তুমি তোমার কোনো বয়ফ্রেন্ড নাই।
না না, বয়ফ্রেন্ড না, আমি ওনার বয়ফ্রেন্ড, আমি ওর ফিয়ান্সে। ওর সাথে আমার বিয়ে নেক্সট।
ও আচ্ছা আচ্ছা,
আমার জন্য?
এটা তোমার জন্য, একটা নতুন ফোন দিলাম।
এই জন্য তাহলে তোমরা এতক্ষণ নাটক করছো?
নাটক না, তোমার ফোনটা পুরনো হয়ে গেছে।
কেন
নতুন ফোন।
আমরা প্র্যাঙ্ক করতে পারি না?
একটা ইম্পর্টেন্ট কথা ছিল তোমার সাথে। এমন করলে কেমন হয় যদি এই এন্টারটেইনমেন্ট জার্নিতে আমি জয়েন করি তোমার সাথে?
আরে বেন সাহেব, নতুন নতুন সম্বন্ধ তো তাই চিনতে পারেন নাই। ওই যে আপনার বান্ধবী তুলি আছে না?
আপনি যে কি করে, আপনি মাথায় কোনো কমন সেন্স নেই? আমার বাসায় যদি সবাই দেখে ফেলে।
রাত 10টায় আমি ফোন দিব, আর একবারের বেশি যদি রিং হয়। মামা, মালটা তো জোস। সরি 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 ভাবি, তুই পারবি। দেখ কিভাবে কই। সেটিং মেটিং নাই তো? সেটিং মানে বুঝো না, পেন্টিরিতি।
সবে ইন্টার সেকেন্ড ইয়ারে পড়ি।
ইন্টার সেকেন্ড ইয়ারে এখন ক্লাস 9 এর পোলাবেনও প্রেম করে। মামা, মায়া তো অস্থির। এক্সকিউজ মি আপু, এক্সকিউজ মি, আপনার নামটা যদি বলতেন একটু। শুনেন বেন সাহেব, আমার বন্ধু জিসান, ঠিক আছে? আপনার বান্ধবীরে শুনুন। মারি নাই তো, শাসন করছি। ভালো লাগে না, একটু মারতেই পারি, তাহলে কিন্তু খুব খারাপ হয়ে যাবে। তুই রবিলের সুন্দর রিক্সা ডাক। ভাবি ঠিক আমার বন্ধু জিসান দেখতে, প্লিজ ভাবি আপনি একটু নেন, প্লিজ ভাবি। দেখেন ভাবি, কালকে সারা রাত তোমার আমি কল দিচ্ছি।
সারা রাত?
তাহলে আপনি শুনুন আপনার ভালোবাসার মানুষের অতীত বর্তমান।
পাগল কোন একদম ঠিক হয়, ওনার ব্যথা লাগে নাই?
ব্যথা তো বেশি তুমি।
তুহিনে ব্যথা লাগছে না?
বন্ধু তুই চিন্তা করিস না রে, ভাবির মন ঠিকই গলে যাবে। ভাবির মন তো ঘুরবে, কিন্তু